Thanks, Nakaba. Now, me and every single person who read this chapter are on a watch list. Before we hop into this review of Chapter 18 of 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, please do me a favor and leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and here we are to review Chapter 18 of 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, which is known as Resolve for the Battle. And before we actually hop into the chapter itself, I just gotta admit, like, this opening panel, like the cover page of Sin licking his lips, it gave me like Kath flashbacks through the walls. Like every single fiber of my being went, this is Kath reincarnated. Oh my, like literally that's too coincidental. Like I don't know why I didn't link 2 and 2 together, but if Sin's like a reincarnation or an aspect of Kath or something like that, I wouldn't entirely be surprised, because he could very easily be on a warpath to like eat all the monsters, especially since like in this cover page everything is looking at him. Like, this may just be a perspective shot, but Sin himself is licking his lips like he's about to go on a buffet. And then all the monsters, including Ironside's familiar, they all seem to be on the menu. He's walking through so confidently, and that kind of scares me. Because if he's, like, pulling a Kath to Percival and just waiting for him to evolve to a certain point that when he eats him, he can get the most out of him, I'm kind of concerned, because we kind of already did that plot. And to be fair, I didn't like it that much last time, but still, it's kind of scary. And it would explain why Sin's so knowledgeable, just like Kath was. Ugh, man, I'm getting too many Kath parallels now. I'm kind of worried, but I'm also kind of excited. But enough of Sin, let's move on to the actual chapter itself. And we get to see that Ironside ain't no scrub. My man instantly just parted the hand that washed Talisker, as Donnie notes. And the thing is, Percival is just on the attack. Like, he specifically attacks the coffin still, but he's got to realize that thing's pretty darn durable. Oh, well, I guess I don't blame him for that, because the coffin was broken into multiple pieces, so he must have assumed, like, oh, if it's broken into multiple pieces, it can't be that hard to restore. But it does seem to be mid-magic. Seems to be protected by this own little aura thing. And while I do find it cool that the little hymns are actually obeying him now, like, he sent them out, and they do go on the break mentality, but the coffin just flexes a little bit, and bada bing, bada boom, they're gone. And do they die? Like, I can't tell. Some of them seem to get erased. Like, not all of them go back to Percival. I don't think any of them go back to Percival. So the coffin may have just killed them. Or it'd be cool if the coffin used them for energy. That'd be even cooler. But then we get to see that Ironside's like, oh, you're after the coffin. Like, the best thing I'll admit about Ironside in this chapter specifically is how he almost, until the very end, he does not turn around. Like, he just relies purely on his magical senses. Is like, you guys really aren't a threat to me. You're just a bunch of children. Get away from me. And I love that. It's a weird thing where, like, this confidence isn't so much arrogance. Because, like, he straight up admits, if I wasn't so occupied trying to keep the coffin doing its due, I could turn around and execute you. I would turn around and execute you. Like, they all admit if he wasn't occupied, he'd be ready to murder them all without hesitation. So this excuse is enough of an excuse, but still, it's kind of crazy that they're able to even deal with Ironside at all, even with his back turn, because like he simply waves his hand once again and the gigantic cross just appears in the ground. He's just slicing through things. And the thing is, Donnie. Oh wait, well, actually, before I get to Donnie, I think, I guess it's kind of fun. Like, Anne likes the fact, or not like, she just blushes at the fact that Percival's dad killed his grandfather and Percival's fighting him. I don't know. See, Anne's very interesting, to say the least. Let's just say that, especially by the end of the chapter. Ugh, I can't even say, this seems so weird. I know, but here's the thing, the age of adulthood in Japan is 20. I'm not sure what I should have probably checked what the age of medieval England was, or something like that. Maybe it was 16. I don't know, this chapter's weird, but enough of that. Donnie is legitimately just being a Hulk out. And man, Donnie, you're actually, like, I used to feel bad for you, but now I actually hope you just get why. I hope this is him, like, faking out Ironside, or this is some sort of plan where, like, he's going to run away and then run around, and, like, he's going to climb back over the castle wall. And now that Ironside has his back turned by the end of the chapter, he's going to use his levitation magic to get the coffin away from him. That would be fine. I'm cool with that. But if Donnie's really just being a coward, I will teleport into this manga myself, awaken the powers of every single 7 deadly sin, and annihilate Donnie myself. But enough of that. Donnie runs off, and and I wonder if this is like a hint, because he says, I don't want to die, because if I die, it'll be all over then. And obviously, you know, dying is the end, but the way he says that, and the way it seems to imply, like, maybe there's something extra with Donnie that we don't know about. We know through Anne's power that he does have some secrets that he hasn't told the gang, or he's lying and stuff like that. So that's interesting enough. But I don't know. I wonder if this is extra hinting towards a serious backstory for Donnie. But we don't get enough of that. Donnie just runs off, and then Percival goes in with his technique that sort of body bag Talisca's bird. And Ironside, I mean, he pulls out his sword to block it, and he's still just mocking them. Like, when Percival says, I'm gonna pin him down, you guys get the coffin, and Ironside's like, pin me down? Like, kid, you realize our power dynamic here, right? Like, you're not doing anything. And I love how, despite Percival using like a magic sword and Ironside just using a regular blade, I know this may be one of the enchanted blades that his grandfather had, but still, his grandfather had and Arthur gave to them. Like, it may be one of the swords of the round table, but still, he manages to just cleanly block and then slice directly through Percival's magic blade. And that's just crazy. I don't know. It seems super weird to see a magical blade be just annihilated like that. And then it bursts into little mini hymns again, which is always interesting to see. I wonder if he like forces them to lose their scent. Like, this is weird stuff. I wonder if Percival forces them to like make those shapes and they're still like sort of sentient and then they just break apart afterwards. I'm very intrigued to learn more about Percival's magic, especially since it's confirmed that he's just a human dude. Like, I know his magic is probably evolved and he comes from a strong line of warriors. Just look at Ironside, and it's apparently his grandfather was a knight of the round table too. So I guess he does have a super strong magic line, but it seems so weird. Like, he has a very advanced magic that does a lot for him. I'm intrigued to see what the limits of his magic are. But then we get to see that Anne actually comes in for the clutch. She comes in for the save, and she begins to duel Ironside. And the thing is, Ironside's sexist. And like, I know, he's our villain, so he's got to be super evil. And that means girls can't be holy knights. Haha. But like, you do know about Diane, right? And like Merlin, you know, some of like, well, admittedly not the strongest in their own group, some of the strongest people in existence that were holy knights. I'll be fair, Gila and Jericho didn't do much of a good job, but still, even then, Gila was pretty relevant in the last Holy War. Maybe Camelot just didn't have female holy knights. I don't remember, but we didn't really get to see much of Camelot to even know that. But even then, Merlin was pretty well respected. I'm assuming, well, she may have not been known as a holy knight in Camelot, so there's the possibility of that. But regardless of that, Ironside's sexist, and he's going out. And Anne's whole story is how, man or woman, we all want to protect those we hold dear. And Ironside's just styling on her. But she manages to get one hit. She manages to get one hit on him, one scratch. And, well, the thing is, while she manages to get one hit, she apparently barely dodged all his attacks. Or maybe he did it on purpose. I guess maybe he did it on purpose just to mock her. Like, he literally tears up her dress. And, like, Ironside goes, fine sword. A fine sword. Too good for a girl. Like, bro, why are you sexist, man? Like, I know you're a big bad guy right now. Like, I have no idea why I just started like that, but I know you're the big bad right now. But dude, come on now. Like, this isn't shocking, or at least it shouldn't be. I don't know why you're putting so much emphasis on this. But regardless of that, we get to see that the best character in all the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, Nasians himself, has come in the clutch. Meanwhile, I didn't even notice it. Like, if he did that, like, I thought his effects were always visible on the blade, but maybe it's not. Maybe he can like suppress them, or maybe that's just like an external effect that we see as an audience, and like in actuality you can't tell when it's covered in poison. But we get to see that Nasian's really slid. He really like bamboozled Ironside while he was so focused on Anne and so distracted by the coffin that he was literally fighting with just his magical senses. He probably couldn't sense Nasian's activating the poison on top of Anne's blade, and thus when Anne got that one little cut, Henbane, the menace it was, decided to just instantly, it literally worked through his system. It turned him numb, and he's starting to turn around. Like, I'm not sure if he's gonna completely abandon the coffin, but like they actually get to see his face, or like the front of his helmet, which is something he had been hiding from them. Well, maybe not. No, he seems to be turning. Yeah, he seems to be turning away from the coffin. So this may actually lead to Donnie being able to pull in the save now that he's fully away from the coffin. But even still, we get to see that, yeah, despite being super powerful and covered in legitimate armor, Anne did manage to slice through his armor, at least that's what it looks like. And on top of that, his poison is still effective. Nasians is going to be a useful character, like I was hoping for chapters and chapters ago. I don't know if you remember the earlier reviews, but I was hoping Nasians would be a good character support-wise for both his team and a menace to the enemies through his poison, by either amping his team with the medicine he used on Percival or debuffing the opponent by using his own poison like he did. He used Henbane and it actually worked. And I'm glad that he can use it in combination with other weapons, because that means Nasians himself doesn't always have to be on the front lines. He can just constantly be like amping your weapon from a distance and your opponent may not even be able to notice it. However, we don't know, because I'm not sure if her blade not glowing anymore is a signification of like Nasians taking off the poison, or it's just like that was literally always covered in poison and it's just the showing of Henbane is just for us as an audience. I'm not sure. But then we get the moment where like Anne strips, and then see, once again, just due to where I'm from, this is very weird to me because I know she's 16, and this just is, it's just weird. It's just I'm a full grown man. This doesn't do anything for me. Nakaba, ew. I don't know. I know some people are fine with it, and I've seen some of y'all freaks on Instagram already. You know, I do be scanning, and y'all are wild. Y'all are wild, but I'm not here to judge. I'm just, you're wild, at least to me. Y'all all wild. But do y'all, if this is what y'all rocking with, this is what y'all rocking with. But it's not for me. It's not for me. And we get to see that, and super excited that Percival thinks it's so cool. And yeah, obviously they're gonna get together, which is like, whatever, I don't care. But then we get to see that Ironside, he's fully ready. Like, he's now annoyed. Like, he just got done dealing with them, or at least that's what he thought. Like, he was immediately gonna body bag them with like a quarter of his attention. But now, no, he's actually going to be forced to deal with them. And he's like, aren't you driven to get a taste of despair, children? And that's the thing. They're children, Nakaba. Why did you dress her like that? But enough of that. That's the chapter. And honestly, I really like it. But the only... but that's the thing. Donnie running is in character for Donnie. And it could lead to something good. So I'm not sure if I should dock it for that. Because that's the thing. I don't like that. I don't like that Donnie's being a whole coward right now. And that's the only thing I can really take away from the chapter. Other than like the weird stuff with Anne at the very end. But I know that's just me being weird, so I can't necessarily judge the chapter, even though the age of adulthood is 20 in Japan. Like, this is just weird to me. What the heck, Nakaba? But once again, I can't really blame that on Nakaba. That's just the thing they do over there. Like, this, the over sexualization of minors. It's just a thing that's common in Japan. So technically, he's not out of line. He's not out of line. So that's fine for Nakaba. So I'll give it points on that. And honestly, I do love this chapter because once again, it still establishes Ironside as like a plausible threat, and it gives us a reason why Ironside may hypothetically lose this fight, because he's not really paying attention to them. It's half overconfidence, half the fact that he actually needs to maintain the coffin. So he's really not giving it anywhere near his all. He's sort of just firing wildly. He's relying purely on magical senses. He's not really fighting them head to head with his full power. He's literally one hand on coffin, one hand on blade, and he got cut once. So, and he was styling on them too. So I'm not entirely mad that Ironside's not really getting depowered. He's not really depowered. He's just in a specific situation where the protagonist can get some sort of lead on him, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm glad to see that Ironside's still enough of a threat that the team literally has to work together. They need to stack their powers on top of each other, with Anne using her swordsmanship in combination with Nasian's poison, and Percival literally just acting as a distraction, and hopefully Donnie running off to go get the coffin in a different way using his levitation magic rather than just running away. Please don't let that be it. So yeah, this was a super solid chapter. I love all the interactions in this chapter. I love the combat scenes. It seems very fluid. Like, I'll admit, for how nebulous Percival's power is, like, he actually is in very like smooth control of it. Like, the ability that he's using to fire off himself, immediately switching into making blades, how he coordinates his attacks and like tells the others to dodge when Ironside goes on the offense. Like, it's very, very good. I love seeing the team like slowly come together and realize where they can complement each other, where the others fall. Like, Percival really was just a staller, so I'm assuming like Nasians could set up the poison on Anne's blade, and then Anne was the forefront attacker while Percival's mainly the encouragement. Like, this team, it seems very, very solid, and I can't wait to see how they work together more and more. And honestly, I'm really hoping that next chapter, Nasians, that little reveal he had earlier, like a few chapters back when they were getting to the town, where he found out that the little Percivals can take on the properties of his poison, I hope that becomes a plot point. Like, meanwhile, while Anne is still fighting Ironside head on, Nasian is like, hey, yo, wait, come here. Give me one of them. Give me one of them. Yeah, give it to me. And then just fire it at him. Like, fire it at him en masse. And hopefully Ironside won't notice the difference when the one that's poisoned lands on him and starts doing more damage. Because I think the main thing here is that they're trying to wear Ironside down so they can get to the coffin. And I think if Donnie's not running away as part of a plan, he may be like convinced or scared to go back, and then he'll see the coffins open and then he'll take it away. So I'll admit, I'll give this, I can't give it full points because Donnie being a coward, and I'll admit it's just a weird thing for me. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't like what Nakaba do with Anne's design, but that's just me. I understand. Y'all enjoy it. Y'all do that. Y'all rock with yourselves. And I know she's confident with it. She's confident and happy with it. It just throws me off because 16. But it's neither here nor there. I think it's a really solid chapter. I can't wait to see Ironside like actually begin to try, even if he is considerably debuffed now. Like, he says he's going numb, he can barely feel himself, but that's just fine. I'm super intrigued to see how this fight's going to continue, and I'm super intrigued to see what Sin's doing, because Sin seems to be going on a buffet and Donnie's running off towards the general direction of Sin. I'm super intrigued to see what's happening next chapter, which is super good for a manga that is in a really locked spot right now. Like, we're really locked down to this one town and we don't have much idea what's going on outside of it, but a lot of things are happening. We have this main front with the group against Ironside, who's now just turned around. We have the front of Donnie, who's just running away, and then we have the front of Sin, who's taking care of business in the town, which is going to be super interesting to see. We're in a very, I feel like I say this almost every single week, but we're in a very interesting spot. Like, I'm intrigued to see how they're going to deal with Ironside. I'm intrigued to see if we're going to even see Donnie next chapter in terms of what he's going to do now. And I'm also super intrigued to learn about Sin and what the heck that little weird fox thing's up to, that little pink freak. But regardless of that, I give this chapter a solid 8 out of 10. Super good. Can't wait to see more. If I remove my biases for not liking Donnie and like the weird thing with Anne, it probably would be a solid 10 out of 10 with all the fluid action in it, from the great artwork to the amazing dynamic fight scene. I love it. Let me not be mean. It's a 10 out of 10 chapter. All right, that's all. But that's enough of what I think. What do you think in the comment section down below? What do you think is going to happen next week? What do you think of this chapter? And where do you think we're going to be going? Please tell me all of that in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.